The killer wave struck.
There was just the most enormous, loud typhoon sounds, sonic wind, along with smashing sound. And I didn't even have time to look at Chia, my girlfriend. I just managed to just start opening the door. And as I opened the door, the water was just there, and it just was as high as I could see. It just came down on us, and it just smashed the bungalow. It just took us like we were made from paper. It just washed us. My position was I was just waiting for the final break, and then, you know, I was preparing for death. As far as I'm aware, people don't survive that sort of attack. So I shouted to some guy who turned out to be German in a rather English fashion. Excuse me, I'm losing a lot of blood here. He threw a long piece of wood, and I managed to grab the wood, and he pulled me up onto his board and held me in his lap. And if I saw the heroic German man that saved my life, I would remember his face for definite. I could pick him out of any crowd. I'd remember him forever. I'd even remember his voice.
Guy Miller wants to find Chia, but he's in no state to leave hospital. He's badly cut, and the doctors are trying to save his hand. His brother Fergus is going to go south to Phuket instead, to try to find out what happened to her.
I want to know what her situation is. Whatever her situation is, I just want to take care of her. Bring her home. She's the best thing in my whole life.
The earthquake and tsunami showed that humans are as powerless against nature as we always have been. Foreign governments were slow to react, perhaps because it was Christmas. But this is the first huge natural disaster since the digital age shrunk the world and gave us the power to know and to do.
At first it seemed a terrible disaster, a terrible tragedy. But I think as the days have gone on, people have recognized it as a global catastrophe,
which engulfed people from around the world.
Chia Mashida is one individual. There are thousands of missing people, and this place has been set up right in the middle of Phuket to try to get their friends and their families some answers about what happened to them. Now, a lot of people arrived here hoping that their missing person would somehow be found alive, but as time's gone by, it's become a search for bodies. Now, however logical that sounds, it's hard to accept if you're involved in the search for someone you love. Who can blame somebody who still wants a miracle?
Initially, when the thing happened, there were a lot of people who lost everything. Suitcases gone, shoes, bizarre as it sounds, shoes went missing. And so a lot of people we know shoes. So we put out an appeal through the island's expat network, please bring in clothes. There's a fairly wealthy population on the island, so we got bags full of designer gear, you know, and just flip-flops, anything. People have been fantastic. We've now got too much at this hospital. All our people have been taken care of, and so what we're doing today is I'm trying to get the hospital to release this stuff so I can get it up to Khao Lak where it's really needed. So that's what that is. It's not Christmas presents.
BBC News with Kevin Owen. One of the largest international relief operations ever mounted is underway across southern Asia. 2 days.
Aid organizations and Western governments are increasing their effort to get help to survivors of the Indian Ocean earthquake disaster, which has killed about 60,000 people in at least 10 countries. The United States has more than doubled its promise of funds for the region.
Carol Marco has been asked by the Foreign Office to counsel British victims of the disaster. She's spent 20 years helping people who've suffered severe trauma.
There's a lot of work here to do for counsellors after the initial shock has worn off. At the moment, there's a kind of hiatus. People who've been victims are very quiet, they're shocked, they're traumatised, and they describe the people they have lost as missing. And a missing person, of course, is somebody who can turn up, there's still hope. Eventually, I think a lot of these missing people it will be clear that they are dead, and then there will be a great deal of grief.
Some places looked as if they'd been flattened by a nuclear bomb. As the new year approached, the size of the job became much clearer.
Things are different again today. It's a different kind of phase, and every day is sort of different, and I don't quite know what's going to be happening at the hospital. I think relatives of people who are quite ill have now arrived at the hospital. So I think that will create a different dynamic and a different feel.
Carol's getting the names of British people she wants to visit in hospital.
Sorry, Dorothy. Right. Bye. Okay, we're going to stay here. I'm going to go and see two people who were missed yesterday. And one is quite badly injured, I think.
Even for a trauma counsellor, being surrounded by so much sorrow everywhere you go hurts.
The posters and photographs, there's more and more of them all the time. It's really quite upsetting. Just looking at these two little boys, which is like my little grandson.
Even finding two people definitely alive and definitely in hospital is difficult.
It's getting worse, really. Just more of a feeling of crisis. I think the first few days, as I said, was quite kind of quiet. Now it's building up more. There's a feeling of a lot of sort of anxiety around and loss. This is what I feel when I see all these posters of people missing. I feel the loss, and that's going to hit us all like another huge wave. Actually, is how it feels. Sorry, I'm just going to carry on with it.
Carol couldn't locate the names of the two people she wanted to visit, and no one seemed to be able to help.
This is part of the problem, that the lists are not complete. Nobody knows who's where. The first thing she said to me was, oh, she's gone. She didn't stay in the hospital. Anyway, I'll wait here. Okay, we've got a map. Okay, 2 please. 2.
The nurses are exhausted. They've been at full stretch for days. They don't have much time for someone who can't speak Thai, and they assume that Carol's just another worried relative. Even explaining that she's a counsellor hired by the British government isn't easy. It's the second time that Carol's been to see the nurses who've been looking after the patients and not the paperwork.
Wilkinson, Dorothy. There seem to be 2 names. I don't know. This explains why Kat and I missed her when we were here last time, because nobody knows she's here. You'd have to go around every single bed individually, saying, are you from the UK? Which we did to some extent, but obviously not enough.
All the British patients are listed as English.
Okay, English, I'll remember. It's not very good for me, because I'm Scottish. Hi, Kaz. I'm having trouble finding, is it Dorothy or Dorothy? Dorothy. I mean, they keep telling me she's not here.
If it's this hard to find people inside a modern hospital, imagine what it's like in the towns that were flattened.
Ground floor. Okay.
First floor.
They're not here. They're not in this ward. They're in the pediatric. Yeah, on the ground floor.
She just checked. She in orthopedic ward.
Orthopedic.
Orthopedic ward.
Where is that? Lovely. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks very much for your help.
In the end, she finds them.
I'm just going to, I think the other person I need to see is also in that ward, so I'm going to...
What was the situation with those people?
She's very, very badly injured, probably a spinal injury, and as well as all the usual arms and legs and face and head. She was on the beach at Khao Lak. There are 3 of her family members missing.
She'd already been visited by relatives.
Exhausted from the flight and very stressed themselves because they also had trouble finding Dorothy, just like I did, and were taken to a completely different person.
More and more searchers arrived on Phuket with pictures of the missing and desperate appeals for help.
Now, what makes these notice boards even more poignant and almost unbearable to look at is the fact that the people in the pictures look so happy. These are photos that were taken at celebrations, at birthdays, at weddings, at parties, on holidays. I saw notice boards like this in New York after the attacks of 9/11, and after people started realizing that everybody in the pictures was dead, they became, in their own way, not appeals for information, but memorials about what had happened.
Fergus Miller arrives in Phuket town to start the search for Chia, his injured brother's Japanese girlfriend. Like all the others, he heads for the information centre that the local authority has set up.
Where did you say you saw the Japanese tent? Is it this one over here? We head over here then.
Countries with tourists in Phuket all sent out officials to help, as much as they could.
It's not her. I've got a picture up here. Is this pictures of people who are missing? Japanese citizens who are missing. I've got someone else. I've got a picture of another Japanese person who's missing. So.
What her name?
Chia.
Chia.
Chia. Let me write it. Let me write it for you. Yeah. I think it's pretty much all we can do here. Following that. Is that you there now? You're stood there.
A couple of minutes after he left Chia's photo and his number, somebody rings. This is more than he dared hope for.
Yeah. I'm her boyfriend's brother.
Boyfriend's brother.
Can I ask who you are?
Okay. I'm a newspaper reporter.
Right.
From Japan.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the reporter and his colleagues don't have anything to tell Fergus. They want a story from him.
Where is the hospital?
It's in Bangkok.
Huh?
In Bangkok.
In Bangkok?
Yeah.
Bangkok where?
No, I know where he is, but I don't want people going to see him just at the moment.
Fergus leaves them for Khao Lak, where his brother and Chia had stayed, past volunteers going to collect bodies.
The guy who's helping us out at the moment has said that they are still bringing in people who are unidentified day by day. So, I mean, he's even said that they're still found a couple of survivors yesterday at Khao Lak as well. So, you never know. You never know.
He phones his injured brother.
Yeah, hi guy, it's me. Yeah, how you doing?